You probably think Alzheimer's plaques in the brain are like damage that just keeps piling up. The more plaques, the worse things get. But here's what researchers just discovered that changes that entire picture. Some people's brains are actually controlling the size of these plaques, making them less dangerous. And it all comes down to one gene most doctors never talk about. The question is, do you have that gene working for you or against you? Let's find out. This comes from a brand new study published in Nature Neuroscience by researchers at Mount Sinai Medical School. They were funded by the National Institute on Aging, which is part of the NIH. So this isn't speculation, this is government-backed research that just came out this year. What they found is that your brain has an army of helper cells that actually decide whether Alzheimer's plaques grow big and toxic or stay small and manageable. And the gene controlling that army is called PLXNB1. Now, before you think that's too complicated to matter, stick with me, because what this research reveals might actually change how you think about Alzheimer's prevention. Here's why you're hearing about this now. Most of the Alzheimer's research from the last 20 years has been focused on one thing, destroying the plaques entirely. But this research suggests something different. It suggests your brain might not need to destroy them, it might just need to control them. And that's a game changer. Let me explain why. Okay, so first, let's talk about what these plaques actually are. In Alzheimer's disease, a protein called beta amyloid clumps together in the brain and forms sticky buildups. Scientists call these plaques. Think of them like rust forming on the inside of a pipe. The more rust builds up, the worse things work. For decades, the strategy was clear. Attack the rust. Try to dissolve it, break it apart, stop it from forming. And while that's still important, this new research reveals something the brain is already trying to do on its own. Here's where most people get it wrong. They assume bigger plaques are always worse, but this study shows that's not the whole story. What actually matters is what happens around the plaque, specifically how the brain cells respond to it. In a healthy brain, you have special helper cells called astrocytes and microglia. These are immune cells. When they detect a problem, like an Alzheimer's plaque, they actually surround it and form what researchers call a periplaque glial net, basically a protective barrier. The researchers discovered that this barrier does something specific. It compacts the plaque. It makes it more compact, more contained. And here's the critical part. A compact plaque causes way less inflammation than a loose, spread-out plaque. Think of it like this. An open wound that's infected causes more damage than a wound that's sealed and contained. Same principle in the brain. Containment matters more than you'd think. Now, here's where the gene PLXNB1 comes in. This gene produces a protein called plexin B1, and what the Mount Sinai researchers found is that this protein is the architect of that protective barrier. It actually tells the brain's helper cells how to arrange themselves around the plaques. The study looked at brain tissue from people who had died with Alzheimer's. What they discovered was striking. Plexin B1 protein was way higher in the Alzheimer's brains compared to healthy brains. But here's the really important part. It wasn't high everywhere. It was only high right around the plaques. This suggests the brain knows exactly where to send this protein. It's not random, it's targeted. Then, the researchers did experiments in mice to see what would happen if they turned this gene on and off. And this next detail changes everything about how you think about Alzheimer's prevention. In mice where the PLXNB1 gene was inactive, meaning plexin B1 wasn't being produced, something unexpected happened. The plaques got smaller. You'd think that's good, right? Smaller plaques sound better. But no. Here's what actually happened. With smaller plaques, there was less of that protective barrier, less containment. And because the plaques weren't being compacted, the brain's immune cells became overactive. They kept firing off inflammatory signals, trying harder and harder to shrink something they couldn't contain. And that chronic inflammation, that constant stress, actually damaged more brain cells. In the mice where the PLXNB1 gene was active, the plaques were actually larger and more compact, but the brain's immune response was more controlled, less inflammation, better protection overall. This is why doctors don't explain this clearly, because it's counterintuitive. A bigger, managed plaque is actually less toxic than a smaller, unmanaged one. Now, before you worry that you can't control this, let me be clear. Genetics isn't destiny here. PLXNB1 is just one gene. Your brain is running thousands of processes simultaneously, and the researchers were very careful to explain what this means and what it doesn't mean. What it means is that your body has natural systems for managing Alzheimer's plaques, systems that don't require destroying the plaques entirely, but rather controlling the inflammation around them. The immune response, when it's balanced, is actually protective. Here's what this research really suggests. If you can support that immune response, you're supporting the brain's own defense system. And that's something you actually have control over, unlike your genes. The researchers made clear that targeting genes like PLXNB1 could lead to new treatments. But the bigger picture is this. Inflammation management might be just as important as plaque reduction, maybe more. And here's where it gets personal. You don't have to wait for pharmaceutical interventions to start supporting your brain's natural immune response. You can start now. This next part is why watching until the end matters, because there are specific, proven things you can do this week that directly influence the kind of inflammation happening in your brain right now, not someday, now. So here's what the research is really telling us. The Mount Sinai scientists found that the brain's response to Alzheimer's plaques matters more than researchers originally thought. And that response is something called immune balance. Your immune system needs to be activated enough to respond to damage, but not so activated that it causes chronic inflammation. When that balance is off, inflammation becomes chronic, and chronic brain inflammation accelerates cognitive decline. That's what the mice with inactive PLXNB1 showed us. Overactive immune response, more damage. But here's the hopeful part. Immune balance is something you can influence through lifestyle right now, today. The research shows that specific factors regulate how brain inflammation develops, and many of those aren't genetic, they're behavioral, they're choices you make every single day. Think about what controls inflammation in your body, what you eat, how you sleep, whether you move, stress levels, social connection. All of these things regulate immune activation throughout your body, including your brain. So when researchers say support the brain's natural immune response, they're not talking about something mysterious or out of reach. They're talking about basics, the same fundamentals that prevent heart disease, that keep you strong, that help you stay independent. Here's what's interesting. The brain's immune system and the body's immune system are connected. They talk to each other. When your body is in chronic inflammation, your brain knows, and vice versa. So the Mount Sinai researchers aren't suggesting you need some special new drug to control PLXNB1. They're saying, understand that your brain has these systems, support those systems, keep them balanced, and that's something you already have tools for. Now, let's talk about what this means for practical daily life. The research didn't just find interesting biology, it pointed to something specific. Brain inflammation that's out of control is more damaging than manageable plaques. So your mission, if you want to protect your cognitive future, isn't to obsess about whether you have plaques forming. You can't see inside your brain anyway. Your mission is simpler. Keep inflammation controlled. The factors that regulate brain inflammation are the same ones that keep you healthy overall. That's actually good news. You're not looking for some cutting-edge secret. You're looking for the same thing every healthy person looks for. Here's what the research tells us matters. First, physical activity. Not extreme, not punishing, regular movement. The brain's immune cells are activated by movement in a healthy way. Studies show that people who move regularly have lower brain inflammation markers. Second, sleep quality. During sleep, your brain actually has a cleaning cycle. Inflammatory substances get cleared out. When you're sleep deprived, that cleaning doesn't happen as well. Inflammation accumulates. Third, diet. Not a specific diet, but diets that reduce overall body inflammation tend to reduce brain inflammation too. The Mediterranean pattern, whole foods, less processed stuff. These matter because they keep systemic inflammation down. Fourth, and this is underrated, social connection. Loneliness and isolation trigger inflammatory pathways. Time with people you care about actually dampens inflammation. It's not just feel-good advice, it's immune system biology. And fifth, stress management. Chronic stress keeps your nervous system stuck in a reactive state, which keeps inflammation high. None of these are new, none of these are complicated, but they're more important than you might have realized because they literally shape the inflammatory environment in your brain. Okay, so here's what I want you to do with this information. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't think I have to be perfect. That's not what the research is saying. The research is saying your brain has systems that manage Alzheimer's plaques. Those systems work better when inflammation is controlled, and you have direct influence over inflammation through lifestyle choices. So here are 3 concrete things you can do this week. Not next month, this week. Start where you are with what you have. First, move your body intentionally 3 times this week. Not a marathon, a 30-minute walk, some gardening, light weights, swimming, whatever you actually enjoy. This activates the brain's immune system in a protective way, and you'll feel it immediately. You'll have more energy.